Hello, children of Florida and other children out there who may or may not be listening. This is your father speaking, the Top T. And before we get into whatever we're going to get in today, I first require something warm to drink. You know what it is. Coffee, my favorite. Well, it's been a while. It's been a while because I took a month off from broadcasting or video making or working, for that matter. I was under the weather for about 3-4 weeks-ish on account of some shirts I bought at Walmart. Long story short, but I had some kind of formaldehyde poisoning that was nerve damaging and rather debilitating. You'll be happy to know I am on the mend. I'm fine. All things are as usual. Eric, congratulations. All things volleyball. Emma, I have no idea what you're doing or what's going on in your life or your world as per usual. Although I'm very curious as to whether you're still hosting that immigrant fella, the couch king of Florida. I thought about something I could teach you. I'm not sure what that is, but I had an idea. I've talked about values. I've talked about forgiveness. I've talked about having a vision for your life. I've talked about all these things, but good men and women should not only have values and things that they're about, they should not only say true things, but they should also have boundaries. I have 3. I'm going to share them with you. I wrote them down, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Found it on this piece of paper right here. These are boundaries. These are things I don't do. And so number 1 is I don't suffer fools. If you have foolish people in your life, and a good way to think about this is to maybe a friend, not a friend, a person out there who involves you maybe in their bullshit. Other people's problems are not my problems. So if you have somebody at school, somebody in your world that involves you in their problems, in their mistakes, in their stupidity, I don't suffer fools, meaning your bullshit is not my bullshit. It is a boundary, a life boundary. Number 2, I don't indulge negative attitudes. These are people in your world, hopefully you don't have any people like this in your world, that have just kind of shitty attitudes. They're Johnny Raincloud. They're Debbie Downer. They bitch a lot. The Squeal Sisters come to mind. They whine and they complain. They are not a joy to be around. They just are people who complain. They're complainers. I don't suffer or indulge negative attitudes. If you're working, if you're hiring people and somebody has a negative attitude, first of all, that's one of the 3 components of a good job. Quality work, efficient, and you're a joy to be around. You don't have a shitty attitude. So number 1, I don't suffer fools. That's foolish people. That's their business. Number 2, I don't indulge negative attitudes. And number 3, and the reason I'm telling you these, by the way, is it's not a bad idea to say, hey, there are some things that don't get to make my radar screen. There are some things that I don't indulge in the world. You should have standards. You should have boundaries. These are healthy things to have. So these are examples of boundaries. These are actually mine. There's only 3. I don't suffer fools. I don't indulge shitty attitudes. And I don't tolerate untrustworthy people. And to this, I would just say, believe people believe what they do. What people do is always the truth. If there's somebody in your world who backstabs or stabs you in the back, if there's somebody who talks about you behind your back, if there's somebody who undermines you or pulls the carpet out from under you, says one thing, does another. If somebody proves, maybe they steal from you, and there's a lot of ways to steal. They could just steal your time by soaking up the atmosphere and it's time for them to go home. But if somebody proves to you, they've shown you that they are untrustworthy, I would suggest they're not tolerable. Don't tolerate untrustworthy people. Now, if you have somebody, because you're children still, technically, if you have people in your world who are foolish, or have a shitty attitude, or are not trustworthy, do the best you can to set a boundary. If somebody's untrustworthy and you're in your world, you just don't tolerate it. Don't tolerate them, meaning they don't get to share the same room with you. But if for some reason you can't, at least you know, I can't trust this person. When they say things, hopefully the sound of their voice is lovely. So you can just enjoy the dulcet tones of somebody's wonderful lying mouth. But what the words are, you can't count on. So don't suffer fools. Don't indulge negative attitudes. I don't tolerate untrustworthy people. It's important, I think, to think about 2 or 3 or 4. You don't need to have a giant list, but hey, these are boundaries. These are things I don't tolerate in my world. It could be uncleanliness. Maybe you have a value of my environment needs to be just tidy all the time. Or you need, I don't know. I don't know what yours are, but if there are things that you think about like, ooh, that really bothers me, that really gets my goad, etc., then those can be boundaries. I like the idea of writing them down, thinking about them, and so that you have this nice kind of deciding who and what belongs in your world, who or what media, what you listen to, what you read, what you watch. I am, by the way, before I go there, so to finish up, so this is part of curating your world in the same way, hopefully, probably not now, you're probably all eating 2 carbs a day, but at some point in your life, you're like, you know what, I'm going to be thoughtful about what I put in my body for food, also being thoughtful about what you put in your body, in your spirit, in terms of the humans, people who are thoughtful, encouraging, trustworthy, and also the media and the things you consume. Now, speaking of consumption, I'll end on this. I have a book I'm getting for both of you. You both have How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, or some people might say Carnegie, but I think Carnegie is for Andrew, not Dale. And this trip, I have a second book. I promise it's not Solzhenitsyn or something heavy. It's a little bit of a lighter read that you can read at your leisure. And so that will be waiting for you when you get here. And I think you're getting here, Father's Day weekend. That's what your mother and I have discussed. I haven't heard anything different to suggest that that's not the case. Well, that's all I have for now. If you have questions, queries, posers, interrogatories, comments, you can put them right down below, and you and I will talk again soon.